everyone, so I've been gone for a while, as you all can tell probably, and I'm gonna move this pillow because it's kind of annoying. And yeah, so I'm living in Northern California for like 2 months this summer, so if you're here, tell me what to do because I don't know what to do. Anyways, I'm here to tell you all why you shouldn't be sleepy while you drive. So, let's go ahead and cut to the chase. My stomach's rumbling a lot. And I'm sorry if that's distracting, maybe it won't do it. So let's just go ahead and do this. So, high school. Those are good breaks, if you heard those. High school. So I had stayed up really late one night, just writing a paper, I think, till like 3 a.m. And my high school was about 30 minutes away, so I had to commute to high school, kind of. And I would just remember being really tired after finishing that paper, and then I woke up the next morning, say at like 6:30ish, whenever I normally had to wake up, and I go to drive to school like normal. The whole time driving to school was kind of just like, and a normal day driving to school was like, but this time it was more like, just kidding, it was more like this. So, as you can imagine, I was tired, and just before I got to school, about maybe 10 minutes away from school, there's a turn that I have to take. It goes like this. Whoa. And then there's like a railroad here, and like a field thing, and then an intersection up here. So if you turn, intersection, field, railroad. So, at some point near this turn, I fell asleep. I drove off, hit the railroad, apparently went airborne. There were like light poles, and I missed those and landed in the field right up against this road where the intersection was, just like parked. And then I woke up, and there was like, the air was cloudy, and it kind of felt weird. It was really dry, and I had an XM radio that clipped onto the vent of the car, which I'm not sure if they even make those anymore, but I had one of those, and they're really cool. And that was in the back seat. My sunglasses that usually sit up here were in the back seat. My backpack and stuff that's back here was up on the armrest in the middle, or the center console, whatever it's called. And I was like, something's not right. And then about that time, a guy's banging on my window, and he's like, da, 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 da. And I'm like, whoa, dude, it's early for that. Don't do that, all right? And then he was like, are you okay? I've already called the cops, and like, I'm gonna stay here until they get here. And I was like, okay, but I mean, I'm going to school, so like, I don't know what you're doing. Then I realized, I was like, oh. And then I was like, thank you. Oh, I forgot to mention, I couldn't roll down my window whenever he was banging because everything was broken in the car. I had to open my door. But then I still didn't click that my car was like messed up. I was like, oh, thanks for calling the cops. And he like went over to his car, and I guess he was like calling his boss or whatever to tell him that, he'd be late or whatever that day. And I just kind of sat there, and then I got out of my car, and I called my dad, and I was like, oh wait, I have a phone now, I can do that. I was like, Dad, I totaled my car, and then he was like, oh wait, I can do this. And then he was like, okay, I'll call a tow truck. Good. And he was like, can you drive? And I was like, no. Oh wait, I was like, no. And I'm really bad at this, but you get the idea. So he called a tow truck, they came, and then before the tow truck came, little BMW cop bike car rider man scooted up, and he was like, sir, I'm gonna have to write you a ticket because you touched a railroad, which if you damage that railroad, you could face lawsuit, and I'm gonna have to give you a reckless driving ticket. And I was like, thank you, essays. You're always making my life good. And then he like opened up his little bike seat under it and had a little printer in there, and he was so happy about that printer, I know he was. And he printed my little ticket or whatever they have to print. I don't even know, citation, I don't know how that stuff works. Either way, he handed me that, and then he left after he didn't leave, sorry. The tow truck came, met me, and they were like, alright, and take this, and then they took it, and off went my car, and then he stayed there and talked with whoever else was left, and they like settled whatever, and then they all left. And then about that time, my dad was there too, and he drove me to school. And I went to school, and how our school was set up is there was like a front desk where a teacher usually would fill in. We didn't have like a permanent front desk person. And then it was just like a hallway with lockers on the side. So I had calculus in the morning, and my calculus teacher happened to be working the desk that day. And I arrived really late, like at 11 or something, after all that stuff. And I walked in the door because I needed to get books because I had to do homework, and I guess I really wanted the books. I don't really know. Walked in the door, straight down the hallway, past the desk, and I was just like, and you had to sign in, like why you were late or why you were leaving early. So like I walk in, and I'm just like, and then she's like, oh, Kelby, you missed calculus this morning, what happened? And then I was like, I totaled my car. And then I wrote on the sign-in sheet, like, wrecked my car. Walked straight to my locker, grabbed my books, walked straight back out, and like didn't talk to anybody else really. And then I signed out, wrecked my car within like 5 minutes. I really didn't need to sign in or out. And then I just walked in the car and I left. So went home and felt terrible about life. Totaled my first car. And yeah, so the next day I was really sore. And I didn't want to go to school because I was embarrassed, kind of. Also, I was in a lot of pain. I had like whiplash, so I was always like, it wasn't that bad. I was more like, and then occasionally like, but I like took hot baths to make myself feel better. And yeah. And after a lot of pain, I didn't break anything or anything, fortunately, knock on wood, but there's none really around me, so that's good. But yeah, I was in pain. And then I think about it, the next week I went back to school, and then it was cool. I was like, I wrecked my car. Then I realized now it's not cool at all. It's not really a good story. It's a good story. I tell it a lot. It's because my life's kind of dull, so I get to, it's something that's not as dull. But I wrecked in a not cool way. I just fell asleep because I wrote an essay really late, so it's really not that great. Moral of the story is that if you're sleepy, just go to school late that day. Call in and say that you're sleepy, or go to whatever late. Try to get adequate sleep. I know it's not always possible, but I mean, you should try. I don't know why I'm saying that. I don't even get adequate sleep. I think I just slurred my word. I don't get adequate sleep. But maybe, yeah, just like be aware. Like whenever you start dozing off, pull off and like take a nap, or call in and say you're gonna be late to whatever it is that you're going to. Just be safe, because I mean, I didn't know I was gonna fall asleep until I fell asleep and woke up, Like, I wasn't aware that was gonna happen, and then it did. Whenever people say it happens that fast, it literally happens that fast. So my moral, I already said that. I already said the moral of the story. Crap. Trying to give too much advice. I'm not qualified for this. Just don't do it, okay? Just don't do it. Alright, this week's Vine Pal of the Week, we're just gonna thank you for listening to that. They are Will Sal. They always are like liking my stuff on Vine and stuff, and that's really cool. It's just really cool to see that. Like I say every single time, it means a lot, and I do see it. And it could be you. I see a lot of you all up here all the time. It's just always hard to pick one person for this, but don't worry, there will be more. Also, I'm working on this cool, it's actually stupid, little series I'm gonna post on here, so keep your eyes out for that. It's gonna be something, yeah. So, if you like this video and wanna hear more stories like this, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe so you can see my new series that's gonna be coming out soon. And until next time, I'm gonna drink this water because my throat's a little bit dry.